Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Oracle Apex Office Hours. I'm your host, Jason Haynes. I'm an Apex product manager. Today is November 20th, 2025. Today, we're going to talk about Oracle Apex in Oracle's multi-cloud database strategy. Got a lot of great content for you today over the next hour. But first, let's talk about some announcements and some updates. So we have a lot of good published Apex newsletters over the last several months, most recently featuring Ananya Chatterjee, and before that, Anthony Rayner, and even the Carlos Maciel, who's on the call today to help with all the Q&A that's going to be going on. But you can access more of these newsletters at apex.oracle.com/go/newsletter. From here, join us across 10 countries for an early look at our upcoming next major release, Apex 26.1. So in the next year, we're going to have this next release that's going to be demonstrated across all these different events across the world. We've got more coming across, obviously, on North America as well, but this is just a list of what's going on the other side of the world from where I'm at. And hopefully one day I'll be able to join the community at some of these events myself. But if you want more information about other upcoming events, please go to apex.oracle.com/go/events. And there is a pattern here in our URLs, so pay attention to that for any of the other shortcut links that you'd like to use for various information that is available. If you didn't know, we've hit a record. We've got over 23,000 certified Apex developer professionals to date. So we have the latest learning path that you should need to follow. It's right there in the QR code and also available at another Go link where you can actually explore all this different content and eventually take the test with Oracle University and become recognized as an Apex certified professional. If you've been using Apex for a while, this is something you definitely should take advantage of. First, let's go ahead and get started with a quick poll. Got a few questions just to ask here. See if we can go ahead and get this without a hitch. And multi-cloud poll, oops, number 1. There we go. And we're going to hit launch on that. So on the first question here, if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to know, where do you have Apex apps in production today? If you can answer this, that'd be great and helpful to us in planning these kinds of events going forward. We see that we have obviously a lot of people still on premise, but OCI is taking the lead. All right, just a few more moments. Let's see if we can get to 80% of participants. A few more people, please go ahead and chime in and where you're looking to use Apex in cloud. Looks like we have OCI in the lead. And of course, Rich Souls telling us that he has them in all the choices. Need to be multiple choice, huh? All right, that's great. Thank you, everybody. Let's go on to question number 2 really quick. Let me launch this one. So the next question is, if you're on premises today, are you planning a move to any cloud? And it's still a good number of people that are staying steadfast and nope, not moving to cloud. But there are a lot that are interested in doing that particular migration to cloud. That's good to see. I mean, it's just natural progression. Who wants to be responsible for keeping the lights on anymore? All right. So about half of you have answered. That's great. Let's go ahead and move on. Just to see the results. All right, let's do this. Move on next. Okay, so for those of you that are new, the format here is please post your relevant questions to this topic today in the Q&A section of Zoom. Please don't ask questions in the chat. Use the Q&A feature so that our participants that are on the call, our actual panelists from the Apex development team and the product management team can interact and answer your questions most efficiently. If you have an Apex question in general or something that's a deeper understanding, please go to our forum, apex.oracle.com/forum, and post a new question there. That way we can get more involved and spend more time on giving you a better answer. Having said all that, thank you for your patience. Today's speakers are going to be Vlad and Roopesh. They're going to be talking about some of these different components, and the agenda is going to go something like this. So we're going to have Vlad talking about Apex on OCI. Roopesh is going to talk about Apex on Azure and AWS, otherwise known as Amazon. And then we'll have Vlad back to talk about Apex on Google Cloud Platform. If you weren't aware, Vlad and I actually went to Chicago last month. We went to one of the Google offices and had a great time. And we were there talking about a large audience, or to a large audience, about all the wonderful goodness with being able to have Apex in all these multi-clouds. And having said all that, let's go ahead and welcome Vlad to continue with the conversation and talking about Apex on multi-cloud. Over to you, Vlad.
Thank you, Jason. So as we said, today's topic for the office hours is Oracle multi-cloud strategy and what this means for Apex developers and how Apex developers can take advantage of the multi-cloud. So as Jason again mentioned, we'll first take a look at what options you have in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI, for deploying your Apex environments. Then we'll take a look at what you can do at other hyperscale cloud providers if you wanted to run Apex apps there instead of in Oracle Cloud. And along the way, we will try to provision a few Apex environments, and we will see how easy or hard this may be. Jason already introduced us, so my name is Vlad. I'm the architect on the Apex product development team, and later you will hear from Roopesh, who's the principal product manager. If you have been using Apex for some time, or if you've seen our general overviews in the past of Apex and what it is, you know that we like to say that Apex basically runs anywhere. But more precisely, if you can deploy an Oracle database somewhere, that means that you can also run Apex there as well. And that can be on premises in your data center. It could be on your Windows or Mac laptop. It could be on Oracle Cloud, or it could be in other clouds as well, or in dedicated hosting providers. Of course, we think that Oracle Cloud is the best place for you to run Apex applications. And I think from the poll earlier, we saw that the majority of participants on this call are already using OCI, which is great to hear. Oracle has been using Apex since before Apex was a product. Today, we have thousands and thousands of internal-facing and external-facing Apex apps that we use for Oracle Business. And at this point, probably 99% of them are running in Oracle Cloud, which means that we use the same services that our customers use. So we eat our own dog food. Of course, before you can deploy Apex in Oracle Cloud, you need an Oracle database. And Oracle Cloud offers several options. Those options are grouped in two categories: cloud services that are co-managed and cloud services that are fully managed. So what does it mean? So co-managed service means that Oracle is responsible for the infrastructure, from hardware to networking to things like that. And you, as the customer, you are the DBA. You are responsible for the database, and in some cases, you are responsible for the operating system on which this database runs. This means that you will have access typically to operating system, which some customers may require, and you will have access to sysdba account for the Oracle database to do all kinds of configurations that you would like to do. Now, I'm not a DBA, and here's an example. A few years ago, I needed to configure DataGuard for one of our databases. I'm a developer, I'm not a DBA, so I had to resort to Oracle documentation and to excellent articles from Oracle based from Tim Hall to figure out how to deploy DataGuard. I was able to do it. It took me a few hours probably, but it was possible. So today, with the cloud tooling and the co-managed database services, the same activity is just a couple of clicks in Cloud Console, and you can have your DataGuard database, your standby database running in the same region, in different cloud region, much easier to do. Even developers can do something like this. You don't need to be a DBA anymore. So there's still great benefit for the co-managed cloud services. So the examples of the co-managed cloud services are the base database service. This is a database service that's running, is a single instance in a virtual machine. Apex is not included with the service out of the box. So you need to install Apex yourself. You need to deploy Oracle REST data services for the middle tier, and then you'll be able to run Apex applications on top of base database service. So this is typically suitable for light to moderate workloads. Now, if you really need if you have highly demanding workloads, then you might choose the Exadata database service. Again, it's a co-managed service. So you have all the tooling to help you with different DBA tasks. But again, you have to deploy Apex yourself into that database. And you have deploy Oracle REST data services or ORDS as well. Now, the process to do this in the cloud, install Apex in the cloud, and to deploy ORDS in the cloud, it's kind of the same that you've been maybe used to on premises. So it's not necessarily anything different. You just use our standard documentation, deploy Apex in the database, and so on. Now, on the other hand, we have those other fully managed database services. And I think this is where we have the greatest value proposition. And this is where autonomous AI database comes into place. So I mentioned that we at Oracle run probably 99% of Apex apps in Oracle Cloud. And I would say probably 95% of those apps are on autonomous AI database serverless. It's a fully managed service, which means that Oracle is responsible for full maintenance of the database, of the infrastructure, of the networking, but also of Apex itself and of Word's REST data services. So as soon as you provision autonomous database, you have all of this available to you. Autonomous database is what we call day zero service, which means that every new OCI region will have autonomous database out of the box there. Right now, it's available in over 50 commercial OCI regions, but also in several government regions in different countries as well. When you provision autonomous database, and it actually takes a couple of minutes, you need to choose which workload type you would like to use. There are autonomous databases that are optimized for lakehouse workloads, which means your analytics workloads, which deal with high amounts of high volumes of data. There's another choice for database that are optimized for transaction processing, and this is very typical for web applications where you have lots and lots of web requests that are very quick, but you have a lot of them from a lot of different users. There's another workload optimized for JSON document storage. So if you're used to interacting with your data using JSON document APIs, this would be a good workload for you to choose. And finally, there's a specific workload optimized for running Apex apps. Now, truth be told, Apex is actually available in all of those 4 workload types. So if you wanted to use autonomous transaction processing with Apex, you can, because Apex is pre-installed in that workload type as well. So what's the difference between, let's say, transaction processing and the Apex workload? Well, Apex workload, again, as we said, is optimized for Apex only. So this database will not have some of the tooling that are probably not very interesting to Apex developers. For example, it will not have machine learning notebooks, or it might not have data studio tools. And what this allows us to do is to reduce the price point of that workload. And I think it's $129 a month or something like that for an Apex database. And that database can actually scale to lots of CPUs and lots of storage. As I said, Apex is ready to go out of the box. So it takes a few minutes to provision the database. And once the database is up, Apex is immediately accessible to you. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to install Apex. You don't need to install Oracle REST data services. It's all there, pre-configured, and ready to go. Another benefit of a fully managed service, such as Autonomous AI Database, is that upgrades and patches are automated. So this applies to Apex and Words as well. And another unique capability for Apex customers on Autonomous AI Database is that as soon as we release the next version of Apex, as Jason was talking earlier, this release of Apex is available to Autonomous Database customers at the same time. And it takes one click in UI or one click in or one call to a PL SQL API to deploy that upgrade to your autonomous database. So again, you don't need to execute any upgrade scripts or anything like that you may have been used to on premises. It's one click and you're running the latest and greatest Apex release. Now, you might think that with all the Oracle management and Oracle responsibility for this database, that this offering is not flexible, but that's not necessarily true. For example, if you want to run Apex apps on Autonomous AI Database with your custom domain name, for example, you can still do that. Just place a load balancer or API gateway in front of Apex, and you can choose your domain name, upload your SSL certificate, and nobody will know that you're running Autonomous AI Database under the covers. You don't need to use our predefined URLs that may be not super pretty. For example, if you wanted to use your own email provider that you already have, whether it's on premises or maybe in another cloud, you can also do that with Autonomous Database and Apex. And finally, if you wanted to interact with REST APIs that are protected using custom SSL certificates that maybe Oracle is not providing you out of the box, you can create your own Oracle wallets, upload those trusted certificates into the wallet, and then Apex will be able to make outbound calls to those APIs. Another very unique aspect of Autonomous AI Database, specifically in Oracle Cloud, is the ability to have two always free databases with Apex, which means that you can provision two of the Autonomous AI databases, could be different workload types. For example, one transactions processing, one Apex workload. You can have two of them free forever as long as you keep using them. There are small fixed shapes, but they're sufficient for you to get started. And you don't have to pay anything at all for using those always free databases. And another interesting offering that was released, I think, earlier this year is Autonomous AI Database for developers. This is also a fixed shape, a fixed small shape. Again, Apex is available in this database out of the box. You cannot use these types of databases for production workloads, but the cost of this database for developers is $29 per month. Fully functional autonomous database. Apex is ready to go out of the box. And also you can get access to Oracle support. If you have a problem with something in the database, you can contact Oracle support and they will be able to help you with your database for developers. So with that, let's take a look at how it looks like to deploy an Oracle database with Apex in Oracle Cloud. So first, I'll go to Oracle Cloud Console, OCI Console. And in the Oracle Cloud Console, we will go and click the hamburger menu, select Oracle AI Database. And these are all the different choices that we just talked about of the co-managed and fully managed services. We have the, of course, Autonomous AI Database right there. We have the base database service, but of course, we're interested in Autonomous AI Database right now. I already have one database that I created earlier, but let's go ahead and create one more Autonomous AI database. First, we need to choose the name. So let's call it Apex Demo. We need to decide in which compartment it's located. Compartment is just a way for us to organize resources that are related to each other, whether it's for architectural management, architectural reasons, or maybe for cost management. So we'll just select the default compartment. And these are the workload types choices that we just talked about, 4 workload type choices. So let's pick the Apex workload type. Again, the next choice that we need to make is, do we want this database to be one of those always free databases? And you can have up to 2 of them. Or if you want this database to be a database for developers. So in this case, I will not do that. I'll just provision a fully production-ready autonomous AI database. We have a choice of a database version. 19C is the default, but we can also select the 26 AI that was announced or released at AI World last month. We select number of CPUs. The great thing about autonomous database is that we can add more CPUs in the future automatically without any downtime or any impact to our existing workloads. So we can start small with, let's say, 2 eCPUs, but if we see that the workload is increasing, we can easily add more, and I think the limit is pretty high. The same with storage. So the minimum storage, I think, for Apex workload type is 20 gigabytes, but let's say that we will use 100. But again, if we need more, we can easily scale it up to terabytes and terabytes of database storage. We will skip advanced options. The only other thing that's really important that we need to do is we need to choose a password. So let's create a password and confirm as well. And another important choice that we need to make is how this database and Apex environment will be accessible to our clients or our users. By default, it's accessible from everywhere, which means that if I'm on the internet, I can access Apex, I can access this database. Apex access is using one-way TLS, And database access is using two-way TLS plus the password. So it is still secure, even though this database is accessible over the internet. Of course, for most companies, for most enterprises, you'll probably place your database in a private subnet and then only maybe expose the, let's say, Apex endpoints through a load balancer or a API gateway. For this demo, we'll just select the secure from everywhere option. We can specify our contact information. So when, for example, a new Apex release becomes available to OCI customers, customers who register their email addresses here will get an email saying that, hey, by the way, you can now go to OCI and deploy your next Apex release. And advanced options we're not going to look at. But these are the options where you can maybe choose a different database character set, or provide your own encryption keys, and so on. So that's it. Now we are going to provision an autonomous database. Now it takes 3 to 5 minutes maybe. We're not going to wait. We'll just take a look at the database that I provisioned before. So it says that this is a 26 AI database. And if I go to Tools tab, this is where I'll see the URL, how to access Apex in this database that's pre-deployed and available. We just go there, paste the URL, and we're in Apex. And if I try to log in to Apex Administration Services, we will see that this database is running Apex 24.2.10, which is our second most recent patch. The latest patch, 24.2.11, is in the pipeline as we speak. From this point on, your experience with Apex is exactly the same as you're used to. So whether you're running in Oracle Cloud or on premises or somewhere else, your Apex experience as a developer and as a user is going to be the same. So back to the slides. So this was OCI, and that's great. So what about customers who are not on OCI? Maybe they're using other cloud services. So historically, there have been 3 options for other cloud customers to run their Apex apps in the cloud. Number one is a VM-based option. So you would deploy an Oracle database into a virtual machine. You would have that virtual machine on compute in some cloud, and you would install Apex there, and this is how you would run your Apex app in another cloud. Now, if you are a customer of AWS, AWS has a very popular option called RDS for Oracle, and this option actually has support for Apex. So we still have lots of customers who are running Apex apps in AWS using this RDS service. It's still very popular. And finally, you might find a dedicated hosting provider that is specializing in Apex hosting, and you might deploy your Apex applications in that particular environment. And this is where multi-cloud, the topic of today, kind of comes in. So back in 2019, Oracle kind of started on this multi-cloud journey. And the first thing that Oracle has done is they introduced the interconnection with Azure. So what this means is that you have an Oracle Cloud region, you have an Azure Cloud region, and between them, there's a dedicated, low latency, secure network connection. So what this allows you to do now is that you can have a middle tier in Azure. You can have, let's say, your identity service in Azure, and you can use OCI to deploy one of those database services in OCI, and then interaction between those two clouds is going to be extremely fast, to the point of you almost not noticing that the database is actually located in a different cloud. So this was very popular. A lot of workloads kind of started to utilize this interconnection. Later in 2024, Oracle introduced the same interconnection between Oracle Cloud and Google Cloud as well. But then this is where the most interesting thing happens. Last year, Oracle introduced Oracle Database at Azure. So now we actually take Oracle hardware, which is, let's say, Exadata, and we place it physically in Azure Cloud region. So now, if you want to interact with this database from Azure Cloud, your full interaction stays within Azure Cloud. It doesn't need to go over a network connection somewhere else. So if the interconnect latency was really low, this is even better. So Oracle Database at Azure was the first option that was introduced. Later that year, Oracle introduced Oracle Database at Google Cloud. And this year we have Oracle Database at AWS as well. So that means that you can use the same Oracle Database cloud services that we looked at, but you can use them in other hyperscaler clouds. So what are the benefits? The benefits is that you get seamless experience. So to deploy an Oracle database in, let's say, Azure, you use Azure Cloud Console or Azure Lifecycle APIs to deploy an Oracle database. You now don't need to leave that Azure environment to go some other console or some other place to configure or deploy your database. It's all there natively in your familiar cloud console. The same way with monitoring, Oracle Database will be sending metrics to the native telemetry service of that cloud provider. So to troubleshoot performance and monitor performance, you can use the familiar cloud tooling of that provider. You get full functionality of the Oracle Database now. So if you want to run Oracle databases on the actual Exadata hardware engineered system, you can do that. If you want to use real application clusters, you can do that. And of course, you can also do the actual autonomous AI database. And you get flexibility. If you have on-premise, if you have already Oracle database licenses, you can use these licenses with Oracle database in those other clouds and only pay for the infrastructure cost. You get single billing, which means that your usage of the Oracle database is part of your, let's say, Azure cloud bill. You don't have to go to another provider for the billing purposes. You have single billing place as you used to with your existing cloud provider. And you have support options. If you have a problem with Oracle database, you can either reach out to the cloud provider's support team, or you can go to Oracle support. So you have choices. So how do you get started? You go to a cloud marketplace. Each cloud provider has their own marketplace. So you open the marketplace page, you search for Oracle database there, and then you subscribe to Oracle database at that cloud marketplace. And you'll have to make a choice. Do you want to subscribe using the pay-as-you-go model, which means that you pay for your usage as you accrue that usage of the resources, or you can request a private offer. So private offer is where the cloud provider's sales team will work with Oracle sales team to come up with unique agreement with you that suits your usage patterns and your workload requirements. So if you anticipate large-scale investment in cloud, private offer would probably be the best way to go. But if you want everything entirely self-service, you just select pay-as-you-go offer, and you'll be able to use Oracle database in other clouds. So once you have that subscription established, you just go to the cloud provider console and find Oracle database there and click deploy. And if it's autonomous AI database, as we saw, within a couple of minutes, you have autonomous AI database with Apex running in another cloud. So to take a closer look at deploying Apex in other clouds, I would like to hand it over to Roopesh.
Okay. Thank you, Vlad, for an amazing introduction to Apex on OCI and multi-cloud. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll talk about how can we provision Apex service, for example, Apex service or autonomous database in Azure and AWS. To start with, let us have a quick look about where exactly is it available, how many regions we can leverage in order to use Apex across multi-cloud, across hyperscalers. So start with Apex on Azure. As of October 2025, right, Oracle database is available across 28 Azure regions. That means Oracle database hardware is physically located in these 28 Azure regions where you can go ahead and start leveraging it. To add to that excitement, we do have 5 additional regions planned within the next 12 months. You'll get more regions in the near future as well. So what I can do in order to start once I provision Apex service or autonomous database in multi-cloud, what I can do, I can leverage a lot of native services offered by those hyperscalers. For example, if you're using Azure, you can use Azure AD with SAML authentication natively with Apex. You can leverage the AI ML services offered by these hyperscalers. You can also use For example, if I'm using Azure, I can use Azure Blob Storage. If I'm using AWS, I can use Amazon S3 buckets, and it can leverage all the monitoring tools as well, along with Apex in multi-cloud. So what are the services that we have as of today? For example, if you go to Apex at Azure, let's see, I'm sorry for that. If you want to use Apex at Azure, as of today, all the major server cloud services that Vlad mentioned earlier, Oracle-based database service, autonomous database service, all the 4 workload types, including Lakehouse, including your transaction processing, including JSON and Apex services available in Azure already in the 28 regions that I mentioned earlier. And you can also install or configure Apex and ORDS on Oracle-based database service, on Oracle Exadata service. The interesting thing is you can use Oracle Exadata on a dedicated infrastructure or on Exascale as well, where you can run your Apex applications. So how can I provision this? I want to create enterprise-grade mission-critical applications using Apex and Azure. Before that, I need to have an environment. How can I provision that? So just to go before this, Vlad did mention about subscribing to Oracle database at multi-cloud marketplace, right? So you can either subscribe to Oracle database at Azure in their marketplace, or you can also choose for a private offer if your workload is huge. So Oracle sales and Azure sales work together to provide an offer. So how can I provision one? So let me just go ahead and start sharing that. For example, this is Azure Cloud, Cloud Console. I can just select Oracle database, or I can choose search for Oracle database at Azure. If you notice clearly, I mentioned, as we see here, I'm already subscribed to Oracle database at Azure. If you don't have this subscription, you can just visit the marketplace and select Oracle database at Azure and purchase a subscription. That comes at free of cost again. You can just go ahead and subscribe it. Once it is subscribed, I can just go ahead and select autonomous database. As you know, as I mentioned earlier, you can see all different workloads are available here. All different services are available over here. I can go ahead, choose a service that per my requirement. I'm just going with Oracle Autonomous Database for now. So as soon as you're there, you can notice already I provision multiple databases. There's an autonomous data warehouse or lakehouse. Transaction processing, I have 5 to 6 different transaction processing instances already configured here. So if I want to provision a new one, let me just click on create. And this is the subscription I have. I can also choose a resource group where I can group all my instances together. I do have a predefined group. I'm going to select that. And I'll just name it per your requirement. I'm going to name it as Apex Service at Azure. And this is where the regions comes into picture, right? I do have an Oracle database available across 28 different regions. I can go ahead and select any region that is close to me. As of now, I'm going to leave it to default, which is East US. Once I'm done, this is the interesting part. I want to select between different workloads based on the requirement again. I want to go for a lakehouse, transaction processing, or in this case, I'm going to select Apex Service. I'm simply going to select that. And as we saw in the demo from Vlad earlier, you can also choose between the database version. I'm going to select 23i for my enterprise application for now, because I need to leverage vector search and all the other powerful capabilities. So I'm going to select 23i. And I can also select how many eCPUs that I would like to use with a minimum of 2 eCPUs. And if you notice it, as Vlad mentioned earlier, in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, you can enable auto scaling both for compute and storage. Same option is available across multi-cloud as well. So you can just go ahead, select auto scaling for compute. It's selected by default. And I can also select storage with a minimum of 20 GB storage. I'm just going to, instead of 1 TB, I'm going to take just 20 GB for now. And if required, I can also enable auto scaling for storage. As soon as it is done, I'm going to leave all the remaining settings to default. I'm going to provide password, which I'll use to log into Apex and to database here. So I'm just selecting. And a license type, again, I'm going to leave it to license included for now. That's the only option we have. So upon clicking on next, so when we launched Oracle Database at Azure, the initial couple of months, we used to have only managed private virtual network IP only. So, but as of now, if you want to provision Oracle Database or Autonomous Database at multi-cloud, you can select between any of these 3 options: secure access from everywhere, manage private virtual network IP only, or secure access from allowed IPs. I'm going to select the default one, which is secure access from everywhere, right? As soon as I'm done, I can just go ahead, click on next, provide the maintenance patch. You can leave it to regular. Oracle will do the maintenance patching and all those things for you. You don't need to worry about anything. Same goes for Apex as well. All the Apex upgrades, Apex patch sets, everything will be automatically updated for you. You don't need to do anything over here as well. So when you configure this, Apex comes with pre-installed, pre-managed, and pre-configured for you. We'll see that in a couple of minutes. And please do read terms of use and privacy policy. As soon as I'm completed with that, I'm going to review. It will validate all the settings. As soon as I'm completed done with that, I can just click on create. So my installation might take anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. So I recorded this canned demo for you. You can just go ahead and start accessing Apex from here. My deployment is completed. That means I'm ready to use the autonomous database. You are ready to use the autonomous database and Apex as well. In order to get the URL, if you remember when Vlad mentioned, we went to tool configuration inside my Oracle Cloud infrastructure. The same thing, you can click on go to OCI. An interesting thing to add here, if you're using it for the first time, you have to create your own tenancy. Basically, the tenancy name that you subscribed earlier in Azure, you're going to use a similar tenancy in OCI as well. So when I click on go to OCI, I already configured that. I'm just going to OCI, selecting my database, for example, Epic Service at Azure, and I can just go to tool configuration. This is something we saw earlier, so I'm just going to fast forward it, and I can select the URL from here and start accessing to create my applications. That's it. Irrespective of where you use, we can just go ahead, give the default options. The thing that we need to see from here, the provisioning way, when I click on create autonomous database, either in Oracle Cloud or Azure Cloud, or you will see in GCP and AWS as well, the steps are the same. Select which workload type to use out of the 4 available workload types, and select how much storage you need, how many eCPUs you need. And you also select what is the network type. You want to access it from everywhere or private subnet or whatever options you need. All these settings are default across your multi-cloud, right? Across all the hyperscalers. So I can just go ahead, start creating schema and start creating my enterprise grade applications from here itself. So this is with Azure. The next step, we are going to cover briefly about AWS because we just launched Oracle database in AWS. So what are the things that I can use? Again, how many regions we have AWS available? You can just see this. So as of now, we do have Oracle database available across 2 different regions. One is US West, US East, North Virginia, and US West, Oregon, right? And in the near future, we are going to come up with 20 different regions, 20 additional regions where you can run your Oracle database. And same thing like we saw earlier, you can use a native authentication, native IAM available in AWS. You can use AIML, storage services, everything, right? And interesting thing here, if you're configuring autonomous database at AWS, you can select AWS S3 as your backup bucket or backup storage, right? You can use AWS S3 as a backup storage. And as of now, the services available where you can deploy your Apex workloads, Apex applications. We do have autonomous AI database, the 2 workload types, which are Lakehouse or data warehouse and autonomous transaction processing are available, and that is available in a dedicated infrastructure. So it's not like serverless. As of today, you need to use it in a dedicated infrastructure. And the same goes with Exadata database service. If you want to install Apex on top of it, you can create an Exadata dedicated service and you can start using Apex over there as well. So I'm not going to cover because, like I mentioned earlier, most of the settings are by defaulted across all the major hyperscalers. So what I'm trying to cover over here, since as of today it is available only on dedicated, you will be doing some networking, and once your networking is completed, you will be creating an autonomous VM cluster, virtual machine cluster, which talks to various databases and storage units to improve the flexibility or to give the high availability of your databases. So as a part of that, if you want to use autonomous as of today in a dedicated structure, you need to use autonomous container database, where you can create one single container and start deploying autonomous. Or you can also have multiple container database. For example, I want my first container with 19C, second container with 23AI, maybe third container with 26AI. You can start creating multiple containers as well. So as soon as I'm done, you can, like I mentioned, right, when creating autonomous container database, you have the ability to select 19C, 23 based image, multiple containers as well. And once that is done, these are the settings we have been seeing from Oracle Cloud, Azure Cloud. I'm selecting between data warehouse and transaction processing. I'm selecting the maximum CPU count. I'm selecting the storage. In a dedicated environment, you'll be configuring all the networking earlier. You'll be basically deploying it in a private subnet, right? All those things are pretty much the same. And the interesting thing here in a dedicated environment in AWS, you can also select autonomous database for developers, which comes with minimum storage and minimum CPUs, eCPUs basically. And it comes kind of at a lower cost as well. You can also have that option if you're using only for development purposes. You can also select that. And you can also see for compute and for storage, you have auto scaling available. You can go ahead and enable that so that when your workload get increases, it will auto scale up to 3 times. Okay. With that, I would like to hand it over back to Vlad, who is going to cover about what are the regions available and how you can use Apex at GCP.
Thank you, Roopesh. All right, so let's take a look at what it takes to provision an Apex environment on Google Cloud. So let's go back to my browser and we'll go to Google Cloud console now. As we talked before, before you can provision Oracle database at Google Cloud, you need to go to the cloud marketplace, find the Oracle database there, and subscribe to one of those offers, a pay-as-you-go or a private offer. So let's go to the hamburger, find the Google Marketplace, which is right there, and go and search for Oracle database. And right there, Oracle database at Google Cloud shows up. And of course, in my case, I'm already subscribed to Oracle database at Google Cloud, but this is where you would have the option to choose one of those two offers. At that point, also, it will create, you will be asked to create an OCI account for you. And at that point, you'll be linked from the Google Cloud to OCI control plane so that your database resources can be provisioned. So once you subscribe to Oracle database at Google Cloud, now you can go and find the Oracle database services page. So we'll go to products and look at view all products. And of course, Google Cloud has many, many services, but we are interested in databases. And scroll down to the list of databases, Oracle databases right there. We can actually pin this menu so that it's easier to access in the future. But once we look at the Oracle database page, we can see that which services are available. And these are the services that we talked about earlier. So Google Cloud, as of today, has access to Autonomous Database Serverless. It has access to Exadata Database Service on those two different infrastructures. And Google Cloud also offers Base Database Service. Again, these are going to be Oracle databases that are physically provisioned in Google Cloud region. So let's take a look at Autonomous Database and provision one of those. I already have one created just in the case with Oracle Cloud, but let's go and through the wizard. Again, the first thing that we need to do is we need to give a name to the database. So let's call it Apex Demo again. We select in which region we want to place that Oracle database. In this case, we'll use US East 4 Google Cloud region. It shows which Oracle tenancy this database is linked to. And again, this is the same as with all the other hyperscaler cloud providers. And Autonomous Database is where we choose which workload type we would like to use. And these are exactly the same workload types at the same price points that are available in Oracle Cloud. So last time we chose Apex service, so let's, or Apex workload type, so let's do that again here. We also can choose the database release. So let's select 23AI. And actually, once we'll see, hopefully we'll see that later, this is actually going to provision us 26AI. The interface is a little bit outdated here. The same way we can choose the number of CPUs. You can see that it can scale up to 500, which is enormous, and the same way up to 300 plus terabytes. We don't need that much, so let's again ask for a database with 100 megabytes for us to start. We again need to provide the database password. This is the database. This is the password that we'll use to connect to the database in built-in tools such as database actions. But also it's going to be the same account that we'll use to access Apex administration services, where we can create workspaces and developer accounts and so on. So password and confirm. And I typed it all correctly, which is good. We have the same networking choices as we talked before. Most typically, you'll place your database in a private network, in a private subnet, and expose just the HTTP endpoint. But in this case, for the simplicity of the demo, I'll just go and select secure access from everywhere. I just need the URL of that Google Cloud instance to access Apex. We are not going to provide any email addresses, and we'll just go and create. Again, as with Oracle Cloud, it takes 3 to 5 minutes to get a fully functioning Apex environment from zero ready to go. So I already created one yesterday, so let's go and actually today, let's take a look at that. So this is the same type of information that we saw in Oracle Cloud Console. So name of the database, region, which workload type was selected, version of the database, character set, and so on. And the same limitation that Roopesh showed earlier, we don't have the tools tab yet to find out the URL which we will use to access Apex. So we have the connection information and some other information, but we don't have the tools tab that will give us links to Apex, to words, and to database actions. So instead, what you would do, you would click the Manage in OCI button, which will punch out to the Oracle Cloud console, and this is where you'll find the actual links for that database. Now, because I'm still logged into the previous tenancy from the previous demo, it will not work for me, but I already went in and just got that URL from Oracle Cloud console, and I'll just use my shortcut just to go directly to Apex in Google Cloud. You can see from the URL that this Apex environment is running in GCP, Google Cloud, US East 4 region, and we can go and log into Apex Administration Services. And we can also see that this is running the same Apex 24.2.10 release. Now, what about the database release? For that, we can go to another included tool with all autonomous AI databases, and this is Database Actions. So we go and, again, use the link that I pulled from the Oracle Cloud Console. So this is the landing page for Database Actions, and I log in with that same account that I created. And here, of course, we have the SQL worksheet capability, so we can run SQL queries in the browser, so that's very powerful. But what I'm interested in, which database version I'm using here. So go to Admin menu and About dialog, and we can see that this is Oracle AI Database 26 AI. So it was interesting, Jason mentioned that we went to a Google conference a few weeks ago to talk about Apex in Google Cloud. And at that point, like Oracle announced 26 AI at AI World Conference, and a week later, we were running 26 AI in Google Cloud on Autonomous AI database with the latest Apex version available at the time. So all these updates that Oracle does to software on Autonomous AI database, they are virtually immediately available to Autonomous AI database at other hyperscale cloud providers. So that's really good. Okay, and back to slides. So that's what it takes to provision fully functioning Apex environment from nothing in Google Cloud. So if you want to get started with this, the best way to do that is to go to apex.oracle.com, go click Start for Free Today button, scroll down to the section on this page that talks about running Apex on other clouds, and we'll have links there to instructions for the respective cloud provider, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So to wrap up today's discussion, I would like to offer two takeaways. Number one is Apex runs wherever Oracle database runs. So of course, this is nothing new, but what's new is that with Oracle database at AWS and Oracle database at Azure and Oracle database at Google Cloud, Apex customers can now deploy exactly the same Oracle database services with Apex in those other cloud providers. If you're already a customer of that cloud provider, if you're already a Google Cloud customer, or if you're already an Azure customer, you can simply deploy Autonomous AI database with Apex in a few minutes, and you have access to the same experience that Oracle Cloud customers have, which we think is really good. So number two is, we think that Autonomous AI database is the best place for you to run and develop Apex applications. It's fully managed. You don't need to be a DBA. As a developer, you can just use the services. It's automatically patched for the database, for Apex, for words, and for all other components that comprise Autonomous AI database. You don't need to worry about that. When the new Apex release becomes available, you can, with one click, deploy that Apex release to your database. You don't need to read documentation. You don't need to execute any SQL scripts. You don't need to copy Apex static assets from web server to web server. One click, and you're running the latest and greatest Apex release. And so now with this Autonomous AI database, if you're a customer of Azure or Google Cloud, you have exactly that same experience there as well. And this concludes our brief introduction to deploying Apex in Multicloud. And back to you, Jason.
Thank you, Vlad. Thank you, Roopesh. What a great combination of information on all the different multi-cloud options for Oracle Apex on Oracle database. We've had a lot of great Q&A. For those of you that are interested, you can click on the Q&A button and review some of the questions and answers. Thank you, team, and all the participants that have been able to answer these questions. I think we've got a really, really good set of questions that have already been answered. And in the interest of time, I think we're going to go ahead and conclude today's session. And we look very forward to seeing you in the next Apex office hours. So keep appraised of what's being posted on social media. We do post quite a lot of great content throughout the weeks. And of course, we have a lot of great different conferences coming up with a lot of other opportunities to learn about what's coming in our next major release of Apex 26.1. From that particular point, if there are no other questions or anything else that needs to jump out at us here on the screens, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you for coming, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.